the right way with a new RV from Crabtree RV in Alma. Crabtree is extending our RV show pricing all season long. Check out our spring show specials like a Salem 207 with a slide and bunks for $147 a month. And with RV show pricing, you can take up to $10,000 off of MSRP on new travel trailers and up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels. And we'll still give you more for your trade than the other guys. At Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
Built as user-friendly as it is budget-friendly, the Kubota Z100 zero-turn mower cuts a lawn worth admiring. With smooth controls and a rugged deck, this machine makes mowing way more comfortable. For a limited time, you can get a Z100 mower for as low as $83 a month. Now through June 30th, 2019. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Visit Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
A whole lot of sunshine with us today. Our high temperatures this afternoon will be in the upper 70s with winds increasing anywhere from 20, gusting at times up to 30 miles per hour. An increase in the clouds tonight, overnight lows mid to upper 50s, and then a few isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or two on Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Mosquito Joe. Don't let mosquitoes ruin your outside fun this year. Call Mosquito Joe at 479-202-9960 to keep your yard mosquito-free, or visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
2 seconds, 1 second, he lets fly with a shot.
From the Bush and Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, ought to have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
Bill, I think you do a spectacular job.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Pack your bags, load them up, gas the car, and raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
But hold on, it's almost halftime.
Actually, it is halftime, and it is halftime live from Baum Walker Stadium this afternoon as Arkansas baseball is back home to start in a 10-game homestand, taking on Arkansas Pine Bluff today. Ties back in our Fort Smith studios. Now, actually, I guess it depends on how you look at what a homestand is and how you classify a home game. Because 9 of these next 10 games will be played at Baum Walker Stadium. You get the UAPB game tonight, 3 against Mississippi State starting on Thursday. The last real midweek series, if you count a series as back-to-back games at least, against Northwestern State next Tuesday and Wednesday. Tennessee would be the weekend after. And then you go into Central Arkansas for the annual game at the home of the Travelers, Dickey Stevens Park, to battle Grambling. So that is 10 games where you're going to be the home team. I guess it just depends on how you classify what a home stadium or a home ballpark is. You know, with Arkansas football, you definitely classify War Memorial Stadium as a home stadium. Whether or not you think it's a road game because you're traveling, it's still a home stadium. It has been for a long time. The thing with the Travelers ballpark has only been going on for about, 8 or 9 years. It's still a home stadium, definitely going to be a home crowd. There's no doubt about that. So I'd say I'd call that a home game. It makes sense to me. It really is, and it's the funny thing about this too, Ty, because of the way that my job works out. You know, I mean, I live in Little Rock, so the home games are still, for me at least, in a sense, road games. because I'm the one who's traveling so much. And I know that this is one thing that Brett Bielema has said all those years back, talking about why, you view the football game at War Memorial Stadium a little, not just a little differently, but a lot differently, because you do have to travel, so there's a road aspect to it, but you're playing in front of your own fans. You're playing in a stadium that year after year you get a sense of what it's like to play there. But if you're actually talking, about proximity to where you live or where you sleep, that is a road game, and that is my one home game for the year. Literally, it's the one game that I could say is my home game for the year, unless for some reason the women's basketball team plays at the arena with no teams, which they've done a couple of times since I've been doing the women's basketball games. But I think it's been a couple of years since they played in Central Arkansas. I think that'll be a little bit different next year, because as I've been hearing, there's a very good chance that Arkansas and UALR are scheduling a game next season for women's basketball, which I think could be played in Central Arkansas. I don't know anything else about the men's team, or certainly when it comes to football scheduling with Arkansas Pine Bluff, but the way that all this in-state school stuff has now started with baseball, who got smoked by Little Rock 2 weeks ago. Baseball is a sport that's going to be scheduling these in-state schools, and it's only going to be, as far as we understand, UALR and UAPB, because when the announcement of the scheduling came out, I guess that was about 5 or 6 months ago, they said they were only going to keep it to the schools inside the U of A system. So if you're just looking at the four-year schools that are in the U of A system, you're talking UALR, UAPB, and that's it. I mean, those are the four-year schools that compete at the same level as Arkansas does. You've got some of the other schools that are more of Division II or two-year programs. So maybe they get scheduled for exhibition purposes. But as far as baseball and women's basketball are concerned, it's UALR and it's UAPB. Football's a whole other story, because then there's just UAPB, and you got to schedule so far out ahead of time for football than you do any of the other sports. And then that does beg the question, and this is the question that I think got asked after Little Rock smoked Arkansas on the baseball diamond 2 weeks ago. Is there any benefit to playing an in-state school, especially when you lose? And honest, I don't really think that there was a negative takeaway for Razorback baseball, other than the fact that they just played a really bad game and ran into a team that, by the way, has been playing some hot baseball of late. I think UALR has lost like one game since they came in here and won 17-7. So, and it's different sport to sport. That's the other thing. I think that a loss in football to a UAPB or even Arkansas State would have a much heavier impact upon that program and upon the way that it's viewed than a loss in baseball, where the really good teams in baseball still lose 20 to 25 games a year in baseball. One loss in football, as we've talked about so often, Tye, that can ruin a chance at a national championship. So to me, it's like it's 6 1/2 the other. So I don't know if I ever see, for baseball, I don't see a negative impact at all for scheduling UAPB or UALR. I think it's a good thing. I think it raises the profile of the sport. For the other sports, I think there's other cases to be made. What do you think?
I'm kind of with you on the baseball argument. It also helps that Arkansas is so far ahead of everyone else in the state in terms of where their baseball program is, in terms of who's heading up the program, and Dave Van Horn. And that's not to belittle or make fun of the other baseball coaches in the state, but he's clearly the best baseball coach in the state. It's not really a comparison. And so when you add that on top of the fact that he wants to play the other state, unless he's just completely lying to the media and lying to everyone else, it seems like he was one of the guys that was pushing Hunter Yurachek to play some of the other in-state schools. So when you think about that, it's a completely different mindset than what you had under Frank Broyles and even Jeff Long, for that matter. For the longest period of time, Frank Broyles said that Arkansas would not play in-state schools. And there's reasoning behind that, and I get some of it. Same thing happened under Jeff Long. Jeff Long was not going to play another in-state school. Then Hunter Yurachek comes in, and it seems like he's pushed by Dave Van Horn and some others to play in-state schools. And I know they got rocked against UALR early on, and there were a few fans that, this is why you don't play UALR. I don't think the majority of the fan base looked at it that way. They came in, they outplayed them. It's a midweek game. As you mentioned many times on the program, midweek baseball is the weirdest the weirdest thing in baseball. It's not a very clear directive of where the program is because you play younger players, you don't play your best pitchers, and so on.
I think phenomena actually is a pretty good way to describe it because it's something that is difficult to explain sometimes.
Yeah, to quantify it.
Right.
And so that being said, I'm kind of with you, Phil. I don't have a problem with baseball doing it. If DVH is okay with it, if the AD and the majority of the fan base and stuff, when you get into tickier, tackier stuff and where I think you can make more of an argument, I think you could make a little bit of an argument for basketball, and I am 100% against playing any of the in-state schools in football. I think it's an apple to oranges argument, and I think there's a lot of reasons and a lot of cons that you shouldn't play in-state schools, especially on the gridiron.
You know, and for baseball, you have the added aspect that it's pretty difficult to schedule if you're Arkansas because it's very rare that you go on the road for midweek games. I mean, there are some special midweek trips that you make, like going to Texas this last year to complete the home and home, or doing the same thing with Louisiana Tech the year before. I know Arkansas, I think, has gone to play Arizona State midweek a long time back. So that happens more often. But this is a program that schedules as many home games as they possibly can. If you believe it or not, by the way, there are 19 games left in the regular season for baseball, and only 6 of them will be played away from Baum-Walker Stadium. So, I mean, they get as many home games as they can, and they also have to schedule for the game at Dickey-Stephens Park, which can be difficult to do. I mean, now this year you've got Grambling coming in there, and it's the second year in a row it's Grambling. And I remember Dave even told me in a pregame show last year that it's difficult to schedule that game because of the time of the year they try to play it, that you're trying to get baseball programs that are regional. And you're not going to get a Missouri State to come down to Little Rock. You're not going to get Memphis has come down there. They could do that, but it's a difficult thing to schedule every year for them. So then there's the added idea that I think it'd actually be a really cool idea to schedule either the Trojans and or the Golden Lions at Dickey-Stephens Park. And they're playing the games up here in Fayetteville this year. But that's one way that you can guarantee you're always going to have opponents to play in Central Arkansas, and they sell that ball game out every year. So it would make perfect sense. So all right, let's separate the idea that you lose to UALR, it doesn't leave a black eye on the program. I mean, Little Rock has never been for a big time baseball program, even for the level that they play at in the Sun Belt. And they have one Sun Belt championship, one appearance in the NCAA tournament, and they've been kind of trying to rebuild things for a long time for baseball. And they have apparently done that to the point this year where they're a hot ball club. That looked like a good team when they came in here and pounded out 17 runs.
I think they had won 8 of 9 before they entered that game against Arkansas. And then you mentioned the hot streak they've been on since the win. So, yeah, it's like you're saying, not a bad ball club at all.
UAPB is a different story, my man.
6-27, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Southwestern Athletic Conference. I remember earlier in the season was kind of making light of the fact that Texas Southern has. I think over the first 4 games, I forget how many, but it felt like they were outscored 80-5. You know what I mean? I mean, it was embarrassing. But that was also the team that was picked to win the SWAC. And I mean, if you're going to pick the lowest level of Division I baseball, it routinely, I think year in, year out, is the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And Arkansas has been scheduling teams out of the SWAC for a long time now. I mean, I remember watching them play against Alabama A&M, against Mississippi Valley State, Grambling. I mean, you get Grambling now, and UAPB is right out of that league. And it isn't. It is most definitely not a league that you should be losing games to if you're going to be a top program out of the SEC. And Arkansas honestly should have lost last year to Grambling.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
In Little Rock. I mean, that was a game that Grambling literally handed to the Razorbacks in a silver platter. So, and UAPB is the bottom of the barrel for this league. They come in not only with the worst record overall in the league at 6-27. I mean, they've lost some games 21-0, 25-0. The Golden Lions are 2-14 in their league, so they've struggled within the context of that league as well. So I view a loss to UALR much differently than I would against UAPB. And honestly, I think UAPB would be a team that you 10 run. You know, if this game is 10 runs, or if you lead them by 10 runs or more at the end of 7 innings, ball game over. And I feel like this is a day where it's not like you make that a goal, but it's a realistic possibility. And it's happened a number of times to UAPB. So I think not only should you win, you should crush them, maybe even shut them out. But like you said earlier, Tye, I mean, the phenomenon of midweek college baseball, to me, is different than any other college sport. I mean, you play so many more games in baseball that there's going to be more variables of how you win or how you lose a game. And so much of it has to do with pitching. So now this leads to the other aspect of something I think we'll get into a little bit later on in the show, maybe in the next segment, of the pitching in the midweek has been iffy at times. There's been a couple of good games. At Missouri State, one of them, the first game against Texas. But it's also been iffy because Dave Van Horn and Matt Hobbs have put Patrick Wicklander out there as a starter Tuesdays quite a bit. But I don't think they've let him necessarily go as long as they would like to let him go at times, with the thought that they want to save him for relief on the weekends. So then you end up with, a handful of freshmen that are on the mound and have really struggled to throw strikes. So at times you've also had to use guys like Kevin Kopps or Cole Ramage or even Matt Cronin on a Tuesday or a Wednesday game where you might really just like to save those arms for a Thursday or Friday night, because Arkansas plays
for
Thursday
conference
this week.
Play. Yeah, when you need them more. And it's one of those things where Dave's mentioned several times they're going for conference wins. And it's not like they're not trying to win the midweek games, but they're the priority, and it needs to be because it helps your RPI. It looks better in the SEC, and it just looks better to the committee, is to win those conference games. So when you have your better players pitching in the weekend games, it would lead to lesser pitchers and lesser players playing in that. So that makes sense. And one of the other things that we need to bring into this equation of like talking about playing in games, in-state schools, Phil, is how many like Arkansas schools would love to play the Razorbacks. Like
in every sport,
in
like every single sport
exactly.
They would want to.
Dave mentioned how easy it is to schedule. I know that UAPB's coach James was talking about he's excited that their schedule, and DVH was kind of the same way. But you think about it like this: who wants to play Arkansas in baseball? Like what? It doesn't matter the level of opponent. Like you'll have a coach that's courageous that wants to play, but Arkansas is a top tier program right now. You know this better than I do, but at least top 10, maybe top 7, top 5. It depends on when you get in the nitty-gritty factors that are involved in that. But you're asking a baseball coach, to bring his team either to Fayetteville or whether it's the Little Rock game or something. That's not exactly a fun task that awaits you with the Arkansas consistency of their baseball program as of late. But with the Arkansas schools, they'll do whatever it takes to schedule the Razorbacks. So it's a little easier. I know that's not the biggest factor in the world, but at least is one of them to think about, that Arkansas schools are much more willing to play the Razorbacks than other out-of-state schools because they know how good of a program the Razorbacks are. In baseball, not basketball or football, in baseball.
And as somebody who, in a previous part of my career, still living in the state, worked for 2 organizations that really felt like they were competing against the Razorbacks for sponsorship dollars and for eyes and for media attention.
Yeah.
In the Travelers and in UALR when I did women's basketball games there, I definitely see it from their perspective. It isn't necessarily just a matter of what happens on the field and the competition that you're actually taking part in. It's that you're finally acknowledged as a part of the sporting scene in the state, when across the country, so many of the flagship universities, even in the small states, I mean, Ole Miss and Mississippi State play a lot of the other smaller schools in Mississippi. Nebraska, I think, plays UNO in basketball. It's just, there's so many other examples you can point to of where a flagship university like West Virginia plays Marshall. in basketball. It's not that it has to take place in football. You have so fewer games to schedule, and really just 3 non-conference games a year. In basketball, in baseball, in softball, in tennis, in all these other sports, there's more of an opportunity to schedule them, and you feel like you're not even acknowledged by the behemoth that gets all of the attention, that gets all of the press, that gets all of the sponsorship dollars.
Carlos James, the UAPB coach, pretty much has summoned what you're saying. He said in the past, Arkansas was kind of viewed as the big kid in the neighborhood with all the good toys, but he didn't want to play with anyone else. That's exactly what you're saying. That's what probably a lot of the coaches in the state felt like, Phil, that as you mentioned, you worked for UALR and Henderson State. It's harder when the biggest program in the state, the Razorbacks, gets the majority of the attention, and you don't feel as superior. You don't feel like you're at that level. But when they acknowledge you, like the baseball team and Hunter Yurchek are doing this year, it makes you feel better. And then tie that back into what you were talking about earlier, the fact that it puts baseball in a bigger spotlight when you have more players from the state competing. And baseball right now is third in the state behind football and basketball. So anything and everything you can do to continue to grow the brand of not only Razorback baseball, but baseball in the state is Dave Van Horn's not going to scoff at that. He's not going to deny that. He's going to take advantage of that. And that's what it looks like they're doing, playing UALR and playing UAPB.
You know, we got into this whole conversation asking what does Arkansas benefit from? We're talking about the Razorback athletic department. What do they benefit from? Because you can see what the other programs benefit from as far as the attention and as far as the feeling like you're finally acknowledged on the same level playing field as Big Brother. So what do the Razorbacks get from it? And sometimes to me it feels like it's more about goodwill than anything else. You know, it generates positive publicity, I think, for the university in a way that some fans, I think, are a little hesitant to grasp.
It's hard to when you've been under the assumption. I mean, Frank Broyles, that was his identity. That was the identity of the program for so long because he didn't want people to have a reason to cheer against Arkansas because it was the idea that if you're playing an in-state school, an alum of that in-state school that's playing the Razorbacks is probably going to cheer for that in-state school. But if the Razorbacks are just playing an out-of-conference opponent, someone outside the state, then they're probably going to cheer for the Razorbacks, which makes sense to a certain extent. But there's also other reasons. It's not just a easy issue to figure out, Phil. It goes back and forth. There's pros and cons to both sides. There are,
and you know, when Little Rock beat Arkansas in baseball, you should have seen they had about 5 or 6 rows of fans behind their dugout, and you could almost see the tears streaming down their faces because it was like a long-awaited achievement that almost felt unattainable, and then you're coming into a place where Arkansas had been playing so well, and they just end up spanking the Razorbacks. So I mean, it was a great achievement for them in their eyes that meant more than just a win on the field. And I felt like that could happen in the time that I covered UALR women's basketball. I felt like there were some teams that Joe Foley had that not just would compete well with some of the Tom Collin teams of the time, or Susie Gardner teams of the time up on the Hill, but that they would beat them. And believe you me, when I was calling those UALR games, I would have looked at that exactly the same way. But for now, from my perspective, I look at it in a completely different way. So you
just a little different.
Lose to Little Rock baseball, that's fine. This is a program that looks like it's on the up and up and is getting better. You lose to UAPB, and we might have a problem. And part of the reason is because who's now going to be the starting pitcher, and we'll get into that for the next segment as halftime continues on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. This is Halftime. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Break Inspection Tuesday. This is the Morning Rush.
Listen, we've all worked in places, been in organizations where you've had bosses and people you've worked with that believed in you and supported you, and ones that did and ones that didn't. It's always easier to work in an environment where you work with people that support you versus people that don't. People that believe in you versus people that don't.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Only 10% of collision repair shops achieve ICAR Gold Class status, the highest training level recognized in the industry. Evans Body Shop is proud to be one of them. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. We invest in training because we would never cut corners with your family's safety at stake, and neither should you. Get your vehicle repaired at Evans Body Shop, where your safety is our top priority. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hinton. You asked, and we listened. New financing options available now at Champ Hinton Enterprises. Can you believe payments starting at $150 a month? 5-minute credit approvals and 0 down with trade-ins. Come find out for yourself why we have been serving families in the River Valley for over 38 years with over 35,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs sold. We treat you like family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, I-540 at the Arcoma exit, or champhinton.com.
Advanced Mechanical Performance, your premier UTV, off-road, truck, and Jeep repair facility. Whether it's a lift kit, an oil change, or a complete makeover of your machine, go see Cody and the gang at AMP and get it right the first time. These guys know what they're doing and are doing what they know. Advanced Mechanical Performance, 3201 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. Call them today at 434-4161.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Looking for a high-quality and affordable pre-owned vehicle? Hertz Car Sales offers a wide selection of high-quality cars, SUVs or trucks, amazing customer service, where you can buy direct and save on every car. With inventory arriving daily, why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard? Or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Trade-ins are always welcome. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
Sleep apnea isn't just a problem for the older or overweight. It can affect anyone, even children. If you or someone you know is tired all the time, it may be sleep apnea. Without treatment, it can lead to many serious health issues or even a traffic accident. Don't risk your health or that of a loved one. Make an appointment today with Dr. Bo Sparkman at River Valley Sleep Solutions. Treat your apnea without the hassle of a CPAP machine. Go to rivervalleysleep.com. That's rivervalleysleep.com.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
3-2 pitch. Davis, a swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the Razorbacks win it by a final of 14-12. What a comeback here in Vanderbilt. Arkansas baseball back to action tonight, as we talked about in the last segment, hosting UAPB in what is being billed as an historic first ever meeting. Hopefully this game only goes 7 innings. I wouldn't say that about a lot of teams, but I do think that this is a chance for Arkansas to, kind of keep the bats going after putting up the 14 runs against Vanderbilt on Sunday. But I think everybody would be more interested in seeing what's going on the pitcher's mound for the Razorbacks. The word comes out yesterday that Connor Nolan is going to be the starting pitcher for Arkansas tonight.
That's not a wolf in the background, folks. That's the Baum Walker Stadium testing the emergency alert system out there.
Right,
Bill's not in the mountains. It's just the...
I'm not in the mountains. I'm not in a hurricane. I'm not in a tornado area. And nor are we testing the emergency alert system, but it sounds like they are at Baum Walker Stadium. So I closed the window, and hopefully we won't hear that too much more. So I kind of knew, and I think a lot of people had a sense that Connor would be coming out of the weekend rotation for the time being, And Dave Van Horn pretty much told me as much after our interview on Sunday before the game against Vanderbilt. So Nolan, I think, you look at the last start on Saturday, and he obviously wasn't good. I mean, he gives up 5 runs without retiring a batter. There was a feeling of unluckiness amongst most of the hits he gave up, and there was an infield single, a blooper where Casey Martin and Christian Franklin collided. Martin would have made the catch. It was a blooper, not a very well hit ball. An infield single where Nolan was late covering first base, and it was Connor's lateness covering first base. I think that was the main reason that he was pulled from the ball game 5 batters in. That's one way to get yourself pulled and to get your head coach and pitching coach really steamed at you is not to cover first base when it's been drilled into your head over and over again, a ground ball to first base. You get your butt over there and you cover the position. So they pulled him out after that point. And, I mean, that's the start of the 12-2 loss. So, I mean, there's 2 reasons why you pitch Connor now. One, you want to get him on the mound. You want to get him back out there to forget about that. 2, there's been such issue with midweek pitching for Arkansas that this ought to take some pressure off of Connor Nolan's shoulders. Get out there, give us 5 to 6, maybe 7 innings, save the arms that we would rather use for later in the week, and grow as a pitcher, and see what happens in about a month or so, because the 4th starter on a team comes up to be very important once you get into the postseason. Once you get into Hoover, once you get into a regional, and definitely if you make it to Omaha, it helps having a 4th starter that you trust. And right now, it doesn't look like Connor Nolan is trusted against the SEC teams.
And what happens when you get in a rut in any sport? You need to gain your confidence back, because typically most of the time when athletes don't have some of their best outings in any sport, they lose confidence in themselves. Some lose it more than others. Some are very quick to bounce back, but it seems like he hasn't been what we saw early on in the season. So maybe play him in a little bit of a tune-in game tonight against lesser competition. He gets some of his confidence back, and then he starts hopefully getting back where you can rely on him to be that 4th guy that you mentioned when they get into postseason play. Bill, the question I have for you is, if they're going to change up the rotation now and they put Connor in the Tuesday or Wednesday slot, depending on the midweek how that lays out, is it going to be Campbell, then Scroggins, then Wicklander? What do you anticipate him going with this weekend against Mississippi State?
I'd anticipate Cody Scroggins staying on the Sunday and maybe even keeping that Sunday announced as a TBA in case they want to use Cody in relief Friday or Saturday. I would anticipate Patrick Wicklander getting the ball as the Saturday starting pitcher. And again, this is not coming from the coaching staff. This is just what I'm gleaning from talking with the coaches. Just get a load of some of the numbers here on Wicklander as a starter compared to relief, Ty. It's pretty crazy. He's made 7 starts. Wicklander allows a 165 batting average as a starter with an ERA of 198. Those are fantastic numbers, and he doesn't walk too many guys. 11 and 27 in the 3rd innings. It's not great, but it's nowhere near what he's done in relief. So the relief numbers for Wicklander are really ugly. I mean, an 11.42 earned run average, 12 walks in 8 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 273 average against 3 hit bats. I mean, he's just not the same pitcher working in relief. And that's whether he's working in relief, starting an inning, or inheriting base runners. He just seems to be one of those guys. And it's difficult to figure out why this is the case with some pitchers. He just seems to be a guy who's much more comfortable as a starting pitcher with the routine that you take leading up to the 1st inning and then actually pitching in the 1st inning. And I've seen pitchers that were totally the opposite, but could still go out and give you 5 to 7 innings. Jake Reindl was exactly like that. Jake Reindl was not good the couple of times he was given the ball to start. He had more of the relief mindset of, finding out 5 minutes or so before you go in the game, we're going to need you, get hot. As a starting pitcher, in pro ball, 4 days ahead. In college ball, usually 6 days ahead. If you're a surprise starter, you'll still know with a lot of time to get your mind prepared. So I think Wicklander just seems to be one of those guys as a freshman, and they've already been viewing him as a potential weekend starter moving forward in his career. And I think they feel the same way about Connor Nolan. We have to remember, and you've pointed this out, Ty, Blaine Knight and Isaiah Campbell both started a lot of games their freshman seasons. And that was the year that Arkansas missed out on the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament. It's not to put it on their shoulders. That was a team that didn't meet a lot of the expectations that they had for them. But they also had freshman starters on the weekend, and they were exposed as being a little raw and unfinished. And look at what Blaine Knight did last year, and look at what Isaiah Campbell is doing this year. The seasons like you had from Keaton McKinney as a freshman in 2015, where he became a freshman All-American, those are rare for freshmen. And Keaton obviously wasn't even able to finish his career. He had 2 Tommy John surgeries. So I think Connor Nolan eventually is going to be a weekend ace, whether it's a Friday or a Saturday, because you're going to have, over these next 2 years, and for the rest of this season too, you've got Wicklander and Nolan, lefty, righty. I think and this is another conversation to have another time, if Connor were to choose baseball over football and focus on pitching, I think he adds velocity. I think he becomes a better pitcher. I think he becomes a better pro prospect. And I think he's got the kind of mentality to go out there and shove for 7-8 innings on a Friday or a Saturday as a legit weekend ace in the SEC. I see the same stuff from Wicklander too. All right, we better step aside for a break. We're going to talk with Nikki Chavanel as we'll switch over from baseball to football and a little basketball on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Tye Sports Radio.
It's your piece of land, your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional-grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 73010 0 Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
Hey, I don't know about you, but this spring weather already has me ready for summer weather. Hi, Tommy Kraft here for my good friends at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale. If you are itching for some backyard fun in your own pool this spring and summer, it's not too late. Call Burton Pools and Spas and let them help you design the backyard of your dreams and still enjoy a full swimming season this summer. Kick off spring with big savings on Doughboy above-ground swimming pools. Save $500 on your purchase of a Doughboy above-ground pool that includes everything you need. Pool, liner, pump, and filter, everything. Start relaxing in your own backyard with Burton's. And if you already have your own pool and you're ready to start swimming this season, Burton's has all the chemical supplies and advice you need to make your pool water crystal clear. And through the month of April, all chemical supplies are 10% off. Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale, or online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun. Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts. And free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information. Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Protect your plants from weeds the attractive way with green thumb colored mulch from Metters Lumber True Value. Right now, get 5 bags for just $15 while supplies last. It acts as a natural weed barrier, manages soil temperature, and helps retain moisture, especially during drier seasons of the year. 2 cubic foot bags come in your choice of red, black, and brown and include a 12-month color guarantee. At this great bargain of the month price, why not stock up today at Metters Lumber True Value with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Swung on and lifted deep to center. Fletcher on the run. Dominic Fletcher goes into a slide. Did he make the catch? What a catch by Dominic Fletcher. A tumbling, sliding grab, and this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Tuesdays, third segment means we go to Nikki Chavanel, editor and writer for Rivals.com, covering Arkansas athletics. And Nikki, what's going on these days? I know the spring evaluation period has begun, so this is as busy of a time for Arkansas coaches to be traveling after spring season. So it's pretty busy for them, pretty busy for you.
Yeah, well, luckily this week the staff is taking it a little slower because a lot of spring practices haven't actually begun yet in their recruiting territories. Like Texas doesn't start until next week. So right now they're mostly looking at junior colleges and visiting around the state of Arkansas and all the high schools that they recruit. And I think every single position coach has an area of Arkansas that they evaluate and recruit. So they're just getting their ducks in order in state, which is very nice. I'm sure the high school coaches really appreciate that they're their first stop.
So this kind of means that, you know, for the next 6 weeks, and maybe this week while they're going in-state and looking at the JUCOs, they're kind of figuring out where they're going to be each day and making sure there are no days where you're not in a place watching players that you want to send offers to, perhaps. I mean, it sounds to me like, I mean, it's a really crazy 6-week stretch.
Yeah, luckily Arkansas got a good amount ahead on 2021 offers this past, winter, basically, and right now they're going to use this spring eval period to show a bunch of recruits that they've already offered that they are high priority by going to see them multiple times. I think they can see them each twice. So they'll be at the schools talking to their coaches, watching them practice, and just, showing them their face again, because not everyone came to visit so far this spring. And if they want to get them to visit this summer, then it's really important for them to show up in person. And there's obviously a ton of kids to see. I think my big board right now has somewhere about 78 guys to keep a close eye on.
Talking Arkansas football, Nikki Chavanel, Rivals, and Hogby. Nikki, one of the biggest storylines with recruiting in this upcoming class is going to be the dynamic that Chad Morris is going to be recruiting his son, Chandler Morris, and then Jacoby Criswell, who's the number one player in the state right now. I know he just won the St. Louis Regional MVP. Is Arkansas missing out big time if they don't get this kid on campus to play as a Razorback?
It's a debate we have almost daily on Hogby on our message boards, because everyone wants to see Arkansas grab every in-state prospect that they can who is SEC caliber, and I think Criswell definitely is, but they just think that they're in the mix for other guys that maybe fit better, or just that they think will be more successful. And as far as criticizing that, you can't, because they're trying to get more wins. But Jacoby looks like he's having a great recruitment still. He is probably North Carolina's number one target. He just picked up an offer from Miami, so he'll be just fine. I'm sure most Arkansas fans will hope that he doesn't stay in the SEC if he doesn't come to Arkansas, which at this point definitely looks like he won't. With Chandler Morris, he's clearly an elite quarterback. He's still a 3-star on Rivals, but he put up crazy numbers with Highland Park in their state championship season last year. The only issue is that he doesn't seem quite ready to commit, and I'm not sure what's causing the holdup, because it definitely seems like he's the number one prospect. He would know the playbook. He, of course, knows everything about Chad Morris's offense. He's a dual threat. He can run, but a lot of people are going to start criticizing Chad Morris's decision if maybe KJ Jefferson doesn't turn out like we hope in the 2019 class, and then they don't really have a good guy backing him up after that in the 2020 class if, Chandler doesn't pan out. So he could take a lot of heat for it, or it could work out and be an amazing story between a father and a son.
So there haven't been a lot of storylines lately concerning Arkansas football, but one of the biggest ones as of late is they're ripping off the turf off Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium, And, Nikki, I thought the whole idea of a spread offense and play fast that Chad Morris has been echoing since he got here, I thought that would be easier to do on turf, which is why the move is kind of puzzling to me. Why is the football program heading back to natural grass?
I mean, I'm not really sure all the factors that went into it, but I'm not really sure it makes a huge difference with your offense. But you could see that a lot of former players were complaining about it, and there were a crazy number of foot and knee injuries playing on that turf, perhaps more than there was back when there was grass. So they'll still have to play on a good number of turf fields in the SEC in the coming season, but I think it was just maybe a vote or something, and then they decided that grass was the way to go. And not everyone's going to be happy about it, but a lot of people are apparently on social media.
Phil, I saw Drew Morgan seem pretty happy about it, that they were ripping off the turf off the field.
I don't think it doesn't matter whatever you do with improving artificial surfaces. There's never going to be anything better than playing on the real thing. And for me, we talked about it yesterday, Nikki. I mean, I guess I don't really have an aesthetic preference for football, whether it's grass or artificial turf, but I sure as heck do for baseball. I just felt really weird watching the series at Vanderbilt where there was no dirt at all, even on the pitcher's mound. So do you get the sense that people care about like what the field looks like for football?
Well, I think it's just one of those things that when maybe you're not having a lot of success, any little thing that you think might help sounds like it could make a big difference. So I think people are just excited for any kind of change.
I think that's an interesting point. Yeah, I mean, it's one way to take ownership of your stadium is just tear up the last surface that was there, put something new on there. All right, so I saw that there are a couple of signees, not signees, but new commits, both from East Texas. So I mean, we know that Chad and Joe Craddock are so good recruiting that part of the state, and really the whole program is. But now you keep seeing some of these 3 or 4 star signees or commits from East Texas. Tell us about the 2 that just committed.
Yeah, so Arkansas has a very strong presence in East Texas because both Chad Morris and associate head coach Jeff Traylor hail from that region. So anytime they go there, they turn off the GPS and they just kind of drive the streets and go to the high schools that they have coached at and coached against their entire high school careers in coaching. And the 2 commits that they got this week are both from that area, and they basically just put in the work necessary, brought them in and made them feel like family, and they already have quite a few East Texas players on the team, so it just kind of fits when they come in to visit. They feel at home and like people can relate to them. And so Tykees Crawford, the offensive lineman that committed from Carthage, he's a shoo-in to be a 4-star when the next Rivals ratings come around. He's definitely a powerful, strong, quick offensive lineman, so I think he's going to come in and help a lot. And then already one of the top tight ends in the nation in the last class in Hudson Henry, of course, but now they'll have a nice backup for him in Alan Horace from Crockett, Texas. He's 6'5", 220, strong. He plays all over the field for Crockett High School, so he's very athletic, and he feels at home, and the players did a great job with him on his official visit, so great additions there.
So we know they also have a transfer running back from Arizona State, but they're still looking at a lot of other running backs, right? You said that there's maybe 2 scholarships they could offer for running back, and the top running back from the state of Oklahoma is now on the list, and he said he had a great visit this last weekend. Dominic Richardson's about him. Tell us about him.
Yeah, he has offers from a lot of different programs, but he doesn't have them from Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, which makes people kind of raise their eyebrow. But that's great for Arkansas because he is a really talented player. He's a nice downhill running back, very quick. And I think Arkansas could definitely get him. I think they lead for him after his official visit this weekend. But they are really in the mix for a lot of running backs, so I don't think it'll be a problem for them to take 2. And it'll be nice to have that Arizona State running back on campus. practicing, even though he can't play this coming season.
It's a Tuesday. Nikki Chavanel is our Tuesday guest here on Halftime. Nikki, let's switch up the conversation to basketball. Eric Musselman, a little over a week on the job now here at Arkansas. I saw you and Nick Mason getting into the conversation about possible transfers out of the program. I just can't see this roster staying exactly how it is with the addition of one or two other players. I think one or two, maybe even three other guys transfer out of the program. Is there a guy on the roster right now that you don't think is going to make it into the 2019-20 season?
Well, Ibby Alley, the redshirt freshman, we didn't see him at all last season, and when he came to Arkansas instead of Baylor, he got out of his NLI at Baylor. It was just kind of a big question mark. Arkansas had the spot to fill, and it seemed like a project, but I don't know if Coach Musselman will be ready to buy into that project because it wasn't something that he signed up for. So he might be a guy that he encourages to find a better opportunity to get more minutes. I don't think Khalil Garland can take up another scholarship for another year. I really hope Coach Musselman can be as objective about that as possible, considering he doesn't have as deep of a relationship with him as Coach Anderson did, and he can make more of a business decision on that and maybe put him on, medical hardship or have him leave the program to find another place where maybe he can get cleared to play. But everything's been very weird with that because Mason Jones tweeted the other day and then deleted it that he had been cleared, and no one really knows if that was true or not.
Yeah, it's been kind of up in the air. I've heard different rumors and rumblings. Nothing ever comes to the surface as clarified as 100%, so I don't know about that either. I guess the last thing, kind of want to keep it going with the basketball conversation, Nikki, is with this team right now, with him doing that, how of the transfers you've seen that have been linked to Arkansas's possibilities of possibly transferring here, is there one that's kind of stood out as a guy that you think really needs to get into the program?
Well, the first guy that came up in the transfer talks, his name is Hanif Cheatham. He's from Florida Gulf Coast. He hasn't set a visit date, but he plans to visit sometime in May. I think that he has a real shot at being a big participator once he gets back to, that level of playing. He was at Marquette and won Big Ten. He was on the Big Ten all-freshman list, as a freshman. So I think that he would be a big contributor. He's a shooter, got good field goal percentages. So if Arkansas needs anything, it's a shooter to help contribute with Isaiah Joe and Mason Jones. But they also, of course, need some size, and they've but they're bringing in a power forward from formerly from FAU as well this weekend. So, a lot of moving pieces, and it's not quite clear how many spots he'll have to fill, but size and shooting ability are definitely two big things, and being aggressive and consistent in your effort are things that Coach Musselman's looking for.
Nikki, thanks so much. We got to go. We'll talk next week.
Thank you. See ya.
You got it. Nikki Chavanel from Rivals.com joining us every Tuesday. We'll wrap up the first hour of halftime next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Ready, set, let's roll. Ready, set, let's roll. When in doubt, expense it. You're listening to Halftime. Slide girl by my side, girl. Yeah, we can run.
It's Southern Tire Mart Free Brake Inspection Tuesday.
In Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Orr Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Orr Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at orrautopark.com.
World Class Fitness in Fort Smith is not like other gyms. Open 24/7 so you can work out however, whenever you want. With women's only workout area, free childcare, racquetball courts, and large free weight area, this is the gym for you. World Class Fitness is not that gym. There are no limitations to your goals, gains, or success. No contract and special discount pricing options available. So visit WCFit.com or stop by World Class Fitness today. Don't forget to try clean cooking for your meal prep needs.
With Michelin Pilot tires, you can do it all and look good doing it. Because ultra-precise steering and outstanding cornering power are bound to get noticed. And when you get a $70 reward card after submission with purchase of 4 new select Michelin tires from March 20th to April 18th, you'll look pretty smart too. Looks pretty great, doesn't it?
Get Michelin tires from Southern Tire Mart, 9700 Highway 271 South at I-540 in Fort Smith.
See michelinman.com/promo for details. Offer expires 4/18/2019. Void where prohibited.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Frank Roll Furniture, with the best seats in the house for the month of April, is offering no sales tax and free delivery within 30 miles. Plus, yes, that's right, plus 15% off on all cash, check, or card sales, and 10% off on our in-store no credit check financing. Again, April, 15% off cash, check, or card, and 10% off our in-store no credit check financing with no sales tax and free delivery within 30 miles. Frank Roll Furniture, the best seats in the house. TVs and appliances excluded.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Call them at 479-997-2366 or log on to BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
Your voice lets him know he's safe. Shelter Insurance does the same for you. Roadside assistance provided by Road America is now included with your auto policy. We'll take care of you. Thank you. While you take care of what's most important. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask shelter agents Randy Milam or Brad Howe about a free insurance review.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks. 1 run, 1 hit, and a runner stranded for Ole Miss in the 9th inning. The final score on a Friday night at Baum Walker Stadium. Hawks 5, Ole Miss 3. Well, we're always looking for hints as to who's gonna join Eric Musselman on the Arkansas basketball coaching staff. And the basketball Twitter account yesterday put out some videos from the first of Coach Musselman's practices, and you can hear it's on the tweet that says, by the end of the summer we'll be a well-oiled machine. He says, I want you to jog to Coach Ruda and jog to Coach Thurman. That would be Anthony Ruda, who coached with Muss 4 years at Nevada, and of course we know who Coach Thurman is. So maybe some hints right there. No, nothing official has come out yet. Officially, that's the end of the first hour, and we'll come back with some Get Off My Lawn next on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
Get
Get massive price reductions during spring savings at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. Orr Chevy is taking $7,000 off new body style 2019 Silverados and $10,000 off 2019 Tahoes and Suburbans. Folks, you haven't seen $10,000 off new Tahoes and Suburbans in ages. But it's happening today in Fort Smith. Or get 0% for 72 months for the first time ever on new 2019 Silverados. Spring savings also means lower prices and payments on smaller Chevys, like a Chevy Equinox for $21,437 or $327 a month, or a Chevy Spark $10,991 or $174 a month. Plus, with any new vehicle sold, Orr Chevy will give you a lifetime powertrain warranty, 2 years of free maintenance, and free car washes for life. Don't miss spring savings at the River Valley's favorite, Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive under the giant American flag. Payments based on 75 months and 4% APR with approved financing and 99 or newer non-GM trades. Surf OrChevyFS.com for more details. Chevy, find new roads.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
The new Harry Robinson Salisal Ford has a bigger selection with over 200 vehicles in stock, personal service from a staff that is ready to work with you, and an all-new service department that's friendly and will fix your car right the first time. This is our promise to you at the new Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal, Oklahoma.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Clear sky tonight. An overnight low will drop down to near 55 degrees. Expecting to see temperatures back into the upper 70s with sunshine on Tuesday, although it will be a little on the breezy side. A few showers or thunderstorms could rumble through on Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Mosquito Joe. Don't let mosquitoes ruin your outside fun this year. Call Mosquito Joe at 479-202-9960 to keep your yard mosquito-free, or visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, ought to have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
Bill, I think you do a spectacular job.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Pack your bags, load them up, gas the car, and raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Getting into the second hour, halftime on a Tuesday. It is windy up here in Fayetteville, and the wind's blowing straight in from right field as I sit here in the radio booth at Baum-Walker Stadium. Arkansas and UAPB are 5.5 hours away from first pitch. That'll give me a little bit of time to do, twiddle my thumbs for a little before getting set for the Dugout Show, which will be 6 o'clock right here on ESPN Arkansas. My man Bubba Carpenter, of course, will be with me on the broadcast today, but he's also going to be with us later on in the second hour of halftime in about 35 minutes or so. So I'll get to talk with Bubba twice in the same day. I don't usually get to do that with you, Tye. I talk to you once for 2 hours, and then I'm done with you until the next day.
It's probably better that way.
You think so? You think we
Absolutely.
get a little tired of each other? Bubba and I refer to each other as, in a joking sense, as kind of like a married couple on the baseball broadcast, because we'll pick at each other. We'll make fun of each other on the air, but it all comes down to making the relationship work. I don't know if you and I necessarily could say that we're like that married couple just yet. We're still 7 months in. We don't want to rush things too quickly.
How long have you been doing the baseball broadcast with Bubba?
This is my 5th year. It is just my 2nd year doing the games with Bubba. So we've already passed that 1-year point. And we kind of know each other's tendencies, know exactly the things we can say to the other to get a rise out of the other, but not go over the edge. You think that we're at that point too?
I think so, because we've done it more. I mean, you think about, I've probably done more radio hours with you than Bubba, based on the fact that he doesn't travel for away games, and the fact that we have a show 5 times a week, 2 hours a day. So I would think we have a little more, even though you guys have been doing it longer in terms of the calendar year, we've been doing it longer in terms of minutes on the air together. So,
you don't think we're still in that point of our relationship where we're trying to impress the other one, and just trying to make sure that things don't fall apart?
I gave up on that a long time ago. Long time ago.
Maybe a good thing. It's all right. You do plenty to impress with all these new intros that you've been putting on for baseball season.
Man, the good thing about baseball is they win. So
they win. That's right.
There's more highlights to put up. So
you just didn't have a lot of highlights during football season. You had a few more highlights during basketball season. We are having new intros put out every week now for baseball season. And that's because even when you lose 2 out of 3, you still got the one, which is, I know you've already made one from this last Sunday's comeback win against Vanderbilt. So, again, when you got 56 games scheduled in the regular season, you're going to have more of an opportunity to get some victorious sounds from the radio broadcast.
And you give me the songs, essentially, that you want on them when you talk about the songs that I need to listen to during halftime homework. So I privilege have all my stuff done for me. I just hit record and plug it in, and it's good to go.
Okay, can you? By the way, and we need to remind each other of the homework that has been assigned.
Okay.
For this next week, and I can't even remember what it was that I assigned to you. So I hope you remember. I was talking about this even going on to the show. I thought I reminded myself what I assigned to you. Let's see, it was Singles. That's right.
Yeah, Singles.
It was the movie Singles
Nirvana.
from 1992, and then the Nirvana album that really put them on the map, which is Nevermind. That's what you got to do. What am I doing? Because I'm staying up in Fayetteville tomorrow night, which means I got no kids, no lovely lady, just me and myself and I and game prep. And you know how I prep. I'll have something else to do while I'm prepping. I need my halftime homework so I can get my baseball prep going.
All right, you're supposed to watch Accepted, and then the songs, and I'll give you another artist to listen to, so if you hate one of them, you can listen to the other. Kenny Chesney or Thomas Rhett. Now, these are both country artists. One's more pop than the other.
And I didn't listen to Thomas Rhett on the drive to Nashville, but there
probably a good thing.
There was a billboard of Thomas Rhett on the hotel, like literally on the wall of the hotel, the outside wall. There's a billboard of Thomas Rhett. I'm thinking, oh, that's my homework assignment, and I'd forgotten. I've listened to enough Kenny Chesney, so I'll go with the Tom. Hey, at some point you don't have a choice but to listen to Kenny Chesney. So with the Thomas Rhett, I think I have more of a choice to actually put it in my car or not, because on a lot of these ballparks, I'll hear the Kenny Chesney songs. I probably already hear the Thomas Rhett songs during batting practice. I just don't realize it's him.
So what's the most iconic Kenny Chesney song that you hear throughout every ballpark you visit? Because we play Southern teams, so there's a lot of country that they mix in with the various playlists over the different ballparks. Is there a song that stands out to you most that Chesney is a part of, or that is the lead singer of? Lead singer. He's the lead singer.
Man. I hear the Tractor song. I mean, that's probably the one everybody knows of. I know I hear the Tractor song. And there's so many of these other country songs that I hear during batting practice that I can't and won't be able to, because I've never been a country fan, identify who these stars are. And there's such a
fist pumping in studio in accordance with you saying not a country fan.
Well, here, Tia, we'll go the other direction too. There's such a dichotomy between the two sports that I cover, because the other sport is basketball, and they're not playing country music during basketball warm-ups. I mean, they're playing hip hop and rap, and more top 40. And we're listening more to to country music during baseball. So I guess it just goes to show a different sort of person playing the different sports, and they will warm up to the music that they kind of not just grow up with, but is popular at that time.
One of the best parts about the Razorback baseball team is the Sounds of Bomb page that they put on every year, the different walk-up songs of each of the players, and they're so diverse and different. You'll have rap, country, hip-hop, pop. It really doesn't matter, and they pick out the one they like, and they go, Who's the Baby Shark? Who does that? And that's a major leaguer.
Is that
Andrews?
I told Elvis Andrews to get off my lawn for
Okay.
that, which is what we need to get into because it's a Tuesday second hour. We got things to kick off the natural turf.
Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn now.
Old man, my ass.
Perhaps I could be of some assistance.
You're on Facebook, huh?
Well, I've been trying to figure it out. I joined about 10 minutes ago.
Well, better late than never.
Get off my lawn.
All right, so I got a couple of baseball things for Get Off My Lawn. The first one today are basically the entire New York Yankees team. Greg Bird has become the latest Yankee to be placed on the 10-day injured list. Used to be the disabled list. Used to be 14 days. Now it's a 10-day injured list. And Greg Bird, who's the first baseman for the Yankees, has a plantar fascia tear on his left foot. You know what the plantar fasciitis is, Ty? It's basically the stuff that makes up the bottom of your foot, not the skin, but the actual hard-ish / cartilage-like material that stretches from the back of your heel all the way to your toes. And Greg Bird tore that. That was an injury that caused Albert Pujols a couple years ago to miss a lot of time. So all right, get a load of this already. And this is, I think they have almost as many injured Yankees as they have had games played. 13 Yankees already have been placed on the injured list through the first 15 games of the season. And some of them are some of the best players that they have, like Giancarlo Stanton and Gary Sanchez and Miguel Andujar. Pick up Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, Jacoby Ellsbury, Troy Tulowitzki, who was supposed to play shortstop. He went on the injured list. Aaron Hicks, and now Greg Bird. So the Yankees somehow are 6-9. Somehow they haven't completely fallen apart, even though physically they've fallen apart to where you could actually look at the roster and say, goodness gracious, we're playing Scranton Wilkes-Barre today. That's their AAA affiliate. They have almost as many players starting for the AAA affiliate up at the big league team as you might expect to start for you in the entire season. So my first is pretty much the entire New York Yankees team is off the lawn.
Not the recipe for success if you're Aaron Boone out there in New York. I know those guys are probably still really good ball players being in the AAA affiliate of the New York Yankees, but there's a reason you're paying those guys the big bucks, and when they're not playing, that's not good. Hey, Phil, did you hear? You know how I mentioned that guy that bet $85K on Tiger to win the Masters?
Some people have billed this the greatest sports bet of all time.
Yeah, so he won $1.19 million, 1.2. I rounded it up earlier this week, and apparently that was his first bet, which I don't know if I believe that. This is a guy named James Adducci in Wisconsin. Said it was his first bet ever. I have a hard time believing that, but the amount of money, maybe it was. Maybe he's just like, I'm just going to throw down $85K on Tiger Woods. Now, I wish I had the money to do that, but I can't believe that this guy would actually, in his first ever bet, in his first ever sporting bet, throw $85,000 on a guy that hadn't won a major since what, 2005? Is that the latest, or is it more than that, or is it?
He'd won in. I think the last Masters was 2005. I think the last major was 2008.
Okay, so 11. Yeah, it was 11 years. I'm thinking the Masters was 2005. So I can't believe that. So I got to tell James Adduci to get off my lawn because I'm not buying it.
You're just not buying it at all. You don't believe it one bit.
Who gets that lucky their first time? Like lottery tickets,
I don't know. I'll tell you what. The first time I ever went and put money on Oaklawn, I won over $500.
Did you? All right.
Well. Knowing absolutely nothing of what I was talking about, which was confirmed, by the way, last week. You know, when we tried to do just about 2 minutes of horse racing. And it was obvious we really shouldn't be talking horse racing very much.
Arkansas Derby is on a Saturday, not Sunday. Dan, Clifty, Tommy, they wanted to make sure that we knew that. They gave me a hard time about that at Doze that night, that we we were talking about that. So.
Hey, that's on me, not on you.
They were blaming me. I was like, I didn't say anything. I said he didn't.
It's like
know.
you're an extension of me. I'm glad. You can take all the slings and the arrows. I'll just say the stupid stuff.
I was there. You get the compliments. I get the trash talk. So I'm used to it by now.
Okay, so my second get off my lawn. Have you seen this picture of Dave Van Horn from the dugout at Vanderbilt?
John changed his profile picture.
I thought I saw that. So this came from Jimmy Longo, who's one of the official photographers and videographers and puts together some of the really cool highlight videos of all the Arkansas athletics. And he and Charlie, his assistant, were in Nashville with us for this last weekend series. And they're in the dugouts during the games. They're in the camera wells during the games. They're getting all kinds of cool stuff leading up to games, from practices, from the riding the buses. And then there was just an absolute picture of nothing but gold. And I don't know the exact context around this picture, but my assumption is that it happened once Arkansas completed the comeback against Vanderbilt Sunday and win 14-12. Jimmy has this picture of Dave Van Horn, and it's like he's just 3 feet away from Dave, and it's amongst a series of pictures focusing on Dave talking to the team, and it's almost like somebody is holding something really smelly under Dave's nose, so it gets that sneer up, but you can see the look in his eyes and the way that he has contorted his face to where he's obviously yelling, but you can't really tell if he's yelling angrily or just extremely fired up. But to me, and you got to go onto the Razorback Baseball Twitter handle, at Razorback BSB, go down a few of them. I'll retweet this so that you can get a look at this too. This, to me, is the prototypical, picture-perfect, get-off-my-lawn face. You know what I mean? I mean, it was almost like, look, Vanderbilt does some cutesy things. A lot of college baseball teams do.
Not as much as Ole Miss, though. Let's go and point that out.
Hey, they do just as much of the cutesy stuff as Ole Miss does. They really do. They have all kinds of cute little stretching routines that they do. They jump over their railing every half inning when the pitcher gets the third out. They jump over the railing for every run that they score, even though inside the Vanderbilt dugout there are signs that say, do not jump over the railing. They do it anyway, like they just won the World Series. It's ridiculous. Yes, Vanderbilt does just as much cutesy stuff as Ole Miss does. And sooner or later, I'm just going to have to get past some of this stuff because it's a college baseball thing. I happen to work for, in my eyes, the most professionally minded college baseball team in the country, there is no better fit for me to work for a college baseball team than Arkansas, because I can't get with about 75% of the crap that I see from a lot of the college baseball teams, and that includes a lot of stuff from Vanderbilt. Look, I can separate the fact that's potentially a national championship team that Vanderbilt has, but they do a lot of cutesy stuff. And I know it irks Dave and it irks a lot of the players. And to me, this face that he's making is like one big get off my lawn with that cutesy crap stuff. This is a picture-perfect picture of get off my lawn. And I don't want it ever off my lawn. I want it to be there. I want this picture to be my lawn.
He looks like a fire-breathing dragon in that picture. The intensity is just oozing out of his eyes. And I know when Dave Jordan was here, he had a reputation for just lighting a fire up the guys' keisters and up their butts, and that was notorious. But Dave Van Horn's the exact same way. He can bring an intensity that's seldom seen across the college baseball, and I think that picture that you see is only just a small little glimpse of what actually it's like playing for Dave Van Horn, his intensity, and what he requires of you day in, day out. So it's pretty cool. Those pictures are awesome. Just the filter on it and everything there. They're pretty cool. I
know Jimmy referred to it as the greatest picture of my career. So, I mean, thumbs up to you, Jimmy Longo.
All right, so Chris Davis, he's asking Phil Elson to get off his lawn because he finally broke his hitless streak on Saturday. He finally did that after 62 games, and then he finally broke his home run streak of 35 games against the Boston Red Sox, and this is just the simple statement on how he did it.
It was long overdue.
Long overdue, Phil. I mean, that sums it up as about as simply as you can. Long overdue. I mean, this is a guy that you said commands. How much does he make every year? I mean, upwards.
I think it was like $23 million, and still 4 more years left on the contract.
Yeah, just a fat contract that he has no business going hitless for 62 plate appearances. I put games on the rundown. I remember 62 plate appearances. Just an abnormal stat that you rarely see from a player of the caliber of Chris Davis, and then breaks the home run streak, which is pretty good. Good for him. Like you don't want to see guys fail unless they're just total you know what. So Chris Davis told Phil Elson to get off his lawn this weekend, and then when he hit that home run bomb against the Red Sox.
So that means I don't have to include him on 3 Up, 3 Down. I don't have to include him on FOMO or JOMO. Hey, I'll root for the guy. And I didn't even realize this. I saw Hutch mentioned the hitless streak in one of his stat packs last week, and I'll have to ask Dave this. I meant to ask Dave Van Horn that Chris Davis was a commit to Arkansas before he signed his contract with the Texas Rangers as a high school draftee. Isn't that something?
Think about how many players Arkansas baseball could have possibly had. Now, you'd have to go like deep into probably the players that Dave's recruited over the years that eventually just decided, I'm going to forego college and go to the majors. But, I mean, he's got studs in here. He's got what looks to be the number one prospect in this upcoming 2021 draft in Casey Martin. But he's missed on guys not because they chose other schools, because they went on to the major and minor leagues, which is just incredible to think about.
That's right. All right, my third, we go to the NHL playoffs, where a first-round series between the Washington Capitals and the Carolina Hurricanes was overshadowed by future Hall of Famer Alex Ovechkin, all of 33 years old, getting into a fight with Carolina rookie Andrei Svechnikov, who is 19 years old. And it was not a pretty sight for young Andrei Svechnikov. Ovechkin's not known for fighting. This is one of the greatest goal scorers in the history of the NHL. And, of course, the Capitals are coming off of winning their first ever Stanley Cup last year. It was 3 straight right jabs in front of the Hurricanes' net that sent Svechnikov to the ice. He went to the hospital for evaluation afterwards. You got some audio from that.
Boy, Ovechkin and Svechnikov behind the player getting after one another. Svechnikov's ready to fight with him. Here we go. Ovechkin and Svechnikov trading right hands. Oh, your kid's knocked out. You got to get help. Get the trainer out there. Hurry up. That's fighting out of your weight class. That's a KO.
You got to watch it. And I know if you watch it, but for our listeners, you got to watch this fight because he just clobbers him.
Well, and look, I grew up a hockey fan, and I also I come from a little bit of the thought that fighting has always been a part of hockey, but it doesn't have to be part of hockey. It's accepted. Really, it's the only sport where fighting is accepted, other if you're talking about, boxing or UFC. But it's very rare that these hockey fights lead to an actual injury, other than maybe somebody getting a tooth knocked out or a black eye or a bruise. I mean, we're talking about somebody that took 3 straight right jabs and was done. I mean, knocked out, completely knocked out. He needed help off the ice, had to go to the hospital. He's in concussion protocol, and you feel for the kid because, I mean, there's a moment where you're a 19-year-old and you're battling against someone who's already a legend, who's from your home country, and you're jabbing him a little bit with your stick, and then the two of them decide. From what Ovechkin said, Svechnikov challenged him, but Ovechkin was the first to throw the gloves down. He threw those gloves down, and Svechnikov was kind of like, looked at him like, really, I'm going to do this now? And he throws his gloves off, and then, 15 seconds later, the thing's over. So I hope the kid's okay. Ovechkin said as much in an interview after the hockey game in which Carolina won 5-0. Washington leads the series 2-1. But Andre has an older brother, Evgeny, who plays in the Detroit Red Wings organization, and he threatened Ovechkin over Instagram with a photo of him, or at least a photo of a Freddy Krueger outfit, and the Instagram post says 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, and he tagged Ovechkin on this Instagram post. So I mean, this is going to lead to something else somewhere down the line. And but my whole point to getting to this is that Alex Ovechkin told Andrei Svechnikov to get off my ice.
Yeah, Svechnikov, he bit off more than he could chew. I think that's a little bit of an understatement. All right, my last one for this, and I could go a couple of different ways, but I think it's. I'm finally watching Game of Thrones. I'm finally doing it. And I need to get off my own lawn because I made fun of Game of Thrones for so long, and I messed with John about it. I was like, why do you watch this? But I finished New Girl up last night. I was actually talking to Nikki about that during the break, and she said she just stopped watching it because she got bored with it. But I finished it last night. I'm like, I'm just going to start watching it. I'm just going to do it. And
So you watch the first episode, which honestly can be a little bit difficult to keep up with because there's all these
they intro like 20 characters.
There's like dozens of characters that you're introduced to, and you don't really know what's going on. It's a little jarring, actually. That's why I felt like when I first started watching Game of Thrones, I watched the first 3 episodes in a row, so I felt like I was already immersed in it. So I thought watching the first episode alone is a little bit difficult, but it sounds like you're already hooked.
Yeah, I'm hooked. So I'm going to try and limit myself to 1 episode a night. I don't know how long that's going to last, but I need to get off my old lawn because for so long I was making fun of you and John and others who watch the show and said, why do y'all waste your time on this, and on and on and on. And then, of course, I fall into temptation. I fall into peer pressure, and I'm now watching the phenomenon that continues to grow, it seems like, every single season. And this is the final season, correct?
This is it.
Okay. So I'm hoping I can finish it before the final episode so I can watch it with everyone else. We'll see.
Well, so that you've got another 67 hours to watch in the next 7 weeks. Can you pull this off?
Hold on, next 7 weeks? Yeah, so that shouldn't be that hard, right?
Now, you focus on one show at a time. I know this. You don't watch a bunch of shows all at once. So you've got, you can fit 67 hours into the next 7 weeks, and then we'll all be caught up.
I think I can do that. We'll see what happens, but I think that's a possibility for it. It would not be possible if we were in football season. I don't think it would be possible during basketball season, but we're in a period of time where I'm not doing as much extracurricular stuff involving the radio station, so I think I'll be able to achieve that goal. I
just think you're going to end up watching like 8 episodes one night and then show up the next day, and when I pull up my iPad and dial you up, you're going to look just like one of the White Walkers. You're gonna look like one of the undead with these gleaming blue eyes and hair out of nowhere. And what happened to you? 8 hours binge watching.
I stayed up through. I didn't go to sleep. Like I stayed through 4:30 at my alarm, and I was just like, "Oh no, yeah, that would be bad." I hope it doesn't turn into that. We'll see.
Hey, before we go to the break, I want to talk to anybody out there that's facing divorce or child custody issues or DHS or criminal matters. Don't worry about getting off the lawn. Get off your keister. Pick up the phone. Call Kevin Hickey Law Partners. That's an experienced, aggressive attorney that will be there in your corner, representing you throughout the entire process. They've dealt with all of it. Angry spouses, false accusations, ugly custody battles, not getting the whole story of what's going on with your kids from DHS. You name it, they've seen it. That's Kevin Hickey Law Partners. Give them a call in the River Valley at 479-434-2414 or in Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560, or go to kevinhickeylaw.com. Lots happen in the NBA playoffs. Quick recap of that next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Break Inspection Tuesday. This is the Morning Rush.
Listen, we've all worked in places, been in organizations where you've had bosses and people you've worked with that believed in you and supported you, and ones that did and ones that didn't. It's always easier to work in an environment where you work with people that support you versus people that don't. People that believe in you versus people that don't.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry. They take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Looking for a new home course this golf season? Eagle Crest Golf Course has memberships as low as $83 a month for Zoysia fairways and bentgrass greens. Is your whole golf group ready to join Eagle Crest? 4 new members can join for just $1,150 each for the entire year. Individual annual memberships are just $1,250 a year. Call Eagle Crest Golf Course right now for all the details. 632-8857. That's 632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma. Spring is in the air, and spring fishing season is here. And Jelco Outdoors has the fishing gear you need to hook the big wall hanger this spring. Rods, reels, baits, tackle, fishing clothing, and rain suits, plus fishing kayaks. Jelco has it all for you. The best quality name brands at fair prices. Jelco Outdoors, your spring fishing headquarters in the River Valley. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Guys, are you tired of all the hassles with your CPAP machine? Putting on the mask every night, cleaning or replacing hoses and filters? Tired of taking it on trips and wondering where you're going to plug it in? And don't forget the distilled water. You need a solution. River Valley Sleep Solutions. Replace your CPAP with an innovative custom-fitted mouthguard. Medical insurance is accepted, and financing options are available. Find out more at rivervalleysleep.com. That's rivervalleysleep.com.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
If you needed major surgery, you probably wouldn't choose a doctor who's never been to medical school. So when your car needs major repairs after a collision, why would you take your car to a body shop that's never been trained? Evans Body Shop is among only 10% of collision repair businesses to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold class shop. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and how to repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. With the safety of your vehicle and your family at stake, choose trained repair professionals. Choose Evans Body Shop,
where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
High drive by Fletcher, right field. That one's way back, and it is way out of here. Dominic Fletcher crushed that to the last row of section 135.
Back on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I told Tye he had to take the lead in this next segment. I don't know how close I pay attention to the NBA play. I'll be paying attention once you get to the semifinal, probably the conference championship rounds and all that. Then maybe the finals too. But the first round, it's been a while since I paid very close attention. I do know. You had the biggest comeback in the history of NBA playoffs yesterday, and a shocking one, really shocking, in Oakland with Golden State up 31 points.
Yeah, Patrick Beverley really annoying Kevin Durant, and somehow, some way, the Los Angeles Clippers, I think Montrezl Harrell didn't miss a field goal in that game. He had 20-plus points, and the Clippers came back and beat Golden State. DeMarcus Cousins is now out for the postseason with a torn quad. That's being reported by Marcus Haynes and a couple other people, big NBA guys out there. So that's a blow for the Golden State Warriors. I still think they're going to be able to get past get past the Los Angeles Clippers because they just don't have enough offense. But yeah, it was wild to see that happen. I didn't watch the game last night, but I did watch the highlights and read about it. But it was pretty incredible. Philly came back, responded in Game 2. They smashed the Nets by 20+, 145-123.
Nobody checking their phones during the game on the bench this time? Joel Embiid had the phone put away?
Yep, Amir Johnson, Joel Embiid. Johnson got fined by the team, and he might get fined by the NBA as well for that. So that they even that series up at 1-1. Also, the Clippers now at 1-1. Games tonight.
Let me ask you real quick. What would be a worse look? Checking your phone on the NBA bench or like being on the NBA bench with nail clippers, clipping your nails during the game?
I think not checking your phone. Probably the nail clippers because we live in a social media world where we always feel like we have to have our phone. And I'm the same way, and I'm guilty of that as anyone else by always requiring to have my phone. But the nail clippers would just show that you have no love. You just don't care about the current game, which I think would be kind of pathetic. It's one thing to bite your nails, but for you to bring out nail clippers to the game, not a good look, Phil.
Well, you don't want to get infections. You want to make sure that those nails are well kept, and you just can't wait until you get into the locker room.
Whatever gets you to sleep at night. Games tonight, Orlando Magic, they're up 1-0 in their series against the Toronto Raptors. They're playing that game in Toronto tonight. Oklahoma City, unfortunately, they're probably going to lose this series. As an OKC fan, it's kind of a bummer. They're down 1-0 to Portland. They take on the Trailblazers tonight on the road. And the San Antonio Spurs are up 1-0 on the Nuggets, and they look to get another road victory tonight in Denver. I'm curious about that. But the best thing that's come out of the playoffs so far was Charles Barkley's invitation to invite LeBron James on the TNT set.
I said this before, America, and this is the last time. LeBron James, come into the studio. You ain't got nothing to do. The playoffs started yesterday. You got free time. I know you got to pick a coach and a general manager.
He's picking it?
Oh, I know you got to pick a. Just put that on the back burner.
I love Charles Barkley, man. He just says what he wants. LeBron James responded. He said, yes, I am doing stuff. As we know, he's more of a movie icon now than a basketball player and is more focused on that realm of his business and his brand than the actual basketball part, which he says that's 100% his goal and 100% what he looks for and identifies himself as, but it's just not. He's just, and we've talked about this, Michael, even when he was doing Space Jam, he identified as a basketball player. LeBron is just like a social icon now. I think he's kind of letting the basketball go by the wayside at this point.
It was probably producing the album, with a game the next day.
Yeah.
I don't know, that to me, that's almost the dead giveaway.
Yeah, just not a good look. But yeah,
either that or it's just it's a really bad album.
Yeah,
would be the only way to put it, maybe.
And he's doing his barbershop or whatever. So.
All right, we're gonna go and talk with my man Bubba Carpenter in the next segment. Some Arkansas baseball will be the topic. Also figure out who does Bubba hate more. This is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Tye Sports Radio.
It's your piece of land, your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional-grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 0 Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
Hey, I don't know about you, but this spring weather already has me ready for summer weather. Hi, Tommy Kraft here for my good friends at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale. If you are itching for some backyard fun in your own pool this spring and summer, it's not too late. Call Burton Pools and Spas and let them help you design the backyard of your dreams and still enjoy a full swimming season this summer. Kick off spring with big savings on Doughboy above-ground swimming pools. Save $500 on your purchase of a Doughboy above-ground pool that includes everything you need. Pool, liner, pump, and filter, everything. Start relaxing in your own backyard with Burton's. And if you already have your own pool and you're ready to start swimming this season, Burton's has all the chemical supplies and advice you need to make your pool water crystal clear. And through the month of April, all chemical supplies are 10% off. Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale, or online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Protect your plants from weeds the attractive way with green thumb colored mulch from Metters Lumber True Value. Right now, get 5 bags for just $15 while supplies last. It acts as a natural weed barrier, manages soil temperature, and helps retain moisture, especially during drier seasons of the year. 2 cubic foot bags come in your choice of red, black, and brown and include a 12-month color guarantee. At this great bargain of the month price, why not stock up today at Metters Lumber True Value with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
ProCare Family Health with locations in Bonanza, Chaffee Crossing, and at their new location in Poto. 1103 Dewey Avenue in Poto is your primary care clinic, acting as a principal point of healthcare to patients of all ages. Their emphasis is to educate patients about their health and how to maintain it throughout their lifetime. They are devoted to the best research models so that their patients can get the highest standard of care. ProCare Family Health can assist with weight loss, testosterone injections, diabetes, and cortisone shots. ProCare Family Health, dedicating to meeting your healthcare needs.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
1-2 pitch. Open swings. Hard shot. Through the right side. Base hit. Washington to third. He gets the green light. And the throw. Not in time. Hogs win. The Razorbacks finish the sweep of Missouri. And that's how you do a Sunday at Baum Stadium. We're going to do it Tuesday at Baum Stadium tonight. 6:30 first pitch. 6 o'clock the airtime, where my partner Bubba Carpenter will be joining me in the very radio booth that I am in right now. Bubba, how do you feel about me holding your bat of nervousness during this interview that you usually are holding during the baseball broadcast? Don't worry, I'll make sure that it needs to be where it needs to be when you show up, though.
Phil, I don't know if that's allowed or not, buddy.
Am I contaminating this thing? Am I placing am I just ruining this whole thing right in front of our eyes?
I don't know, man. It's kind of like my wife there. I don't know if I can share that thing.
I think Bubba, I think he washed off all the luck that was originally on it, and now it's gone now. So you might have to get a new bat.
I know. I'll have to bring a new one tonight.
Well, Bubba, help us put in perspective the weekend series against Vanderbilt, because I just think you go anytime you go on the road in the SEC, you know how difficult it is to win. But when you're going up against a team like Vanderbilt that was preseason #1, looks like they've got everything you need to have a deep run in June to Omaha. Obviously, you want to win the series, but I think the way that the series finished, taking that last game, at least one victory is good. It wasn't a terrible weekend for Arkansas baseball.
No, it really wasn't. And you know what? After the first two games, if you read Twitter and it's like the sky's falling. Everyone was the Hogs were terrible. But coming back and winning that last game, it's funny how that changes everyone's perspective on it. But Phil, you and I, we hate to lose more than anything. But going in there and taking one out of Vandy, I mean, that's a big accomplishment. It's almost like winning the series, to be honest with you, and especially the way we battled back after the way, we got beat down on Saturday. For those guys to bow up like they did and come out and win that game Sunday says a lot about this team. And we talk a lot about the toughness of the team. And I think that exemplifies it right there, kind of what this team has inside.
Did you see the picture that I referred to in our Get Off My Lawn segment? It's a picture of Dave Van Horn from the dugout, and it's a close-up of his face. And you got to go to the baseball Twitter account to get a look at it, because it's like he's telling everybody else who's not attached to Arkansas baseball to get off my lawn. And I just felt like Arkansas, you say this about good baseball teams, Arkansas right now has a little bit of that attitude that Dave Van Horn, I think, played with, coaches with, and it comes through from his good teams.
Oh, I think so. Now, I haven't seen the picture yet. I'll go look at it here in a second. But I'm telling you, someone asked me yesterday on a show, they said, what do you think Van Horn had to say to the team after the second game, before game 3 to get them up? And I said, you know what? He probably didn't have to say anything. He probably just had to get in the power stance and just give them that look. And that pretty much says it all, that look that he can give you. And so it sounds like that's a lot of what this look's about. But, it is still, I mean, his toughness rubs off on his teams, and you see it every year. And I think it's starting to happen with this squad here, because it'd have been real easy for those guys to lay down after Saturday's loss. And I tell you what, they showed some intestinal fortitude, and they came back and fought back and won that game. And so it's good to see. But yeah, I'll have to take a look at that picture.
Are you worried at all about pitching? Because I mean, the team did give up 24 runs in the previous 2 games. I will say, I think that Vanderbilt lineup has some depth to it. That's a tough lineup to go through, and of course you got to get 27 outs. But are you worried at all about pitching right now for Arkansas?
Well, okay, my glass is half full, Phil. You know that.
Usually,
look
yes.
Look at the bright side. Yeah, usually. We gave up what, 12 runs in 3 innings on Saturday, and then the bullpen came and shut them down. We didn't give up another run the rest of the game. So there's a bright spot there. We know that we're capable of getting out. With all that being said and all the sunshine, yeah, I'm a little bit worried because we're not consistent, and boy, you gotta have some guys that are consistently coming out of the pen or starting and giving you good innings. And there's only a few guys that have really been consistent. To be honest with you, Cronin coming in and he's showed a little bit of control trouble. Kind of has me worried as well. He's falling behind hitters. He's just throwing really nothing but fastballs. And I mean, Cronin's Cronin. He's going to be fine, but. Even when you see him struggle just a little bit with his command, it does kind of worry you a little bit.
Talking Arkansas baseball, Bubba Carpenter, color analyst for the Razorbacks. Bubba, so we talked about this a little last week, how Baseball America had Arkansas at the time a projected national seed with the potential to host a Super Regional if they advanced out of their regional. At this point right now, I know you got a couple tough series coming up with Mississippi State this weekend and LSU in a couple weeks. Does this baseball club look like it's worthy of being a national seed?
Well, are we still on the air, Ty? No, I tell you what. Hey, honestly, look at what we did Sunday. I don't ever count a Dave Van Horn team out. So with that being said, absolutely, there's a chance we could still. We're in the toughest part of our schedule. I think this weekend will show us a lot, what we can do here at Baum Walker with Mississippi State coming to town. But, man, I never count a Razorback team out. There's just something about Razorback baseball. And, I say it all the time. When you play with a certain toughness, good things are going to happen. If you can get 9 guys out there with their how can I say this politically correct? With a lot of intestinal fortitude on the line. And, when you get 9 guys playing with a little bit of toughness like that, anything can happen. And so, man, I'll never count us out. Now, is it going to be an easy road? No. And I still think there's some guys that have to step up. There's still guys in that bullpen and a few of the pitchers that are going to really have to step up and get the job done for us. And I think we'll be all right.
One of the other parts of that Baseball America projection is the winner of the Austin Regional would be playing in Fayetteville. And I know when Phil introduced me to you, he said, he's not that big of a fan of the Texas Longhorns. So, Bub, I got to ask, man, what would you give up to see Texas come in here for the potential to play and go on to Omaha?
How did Phil say that? I'm not a big fan.
I might have been more honest and say that you hate Texas with the white-hot passion of a million suns.
There you go. Now you're talking. You're getting closer now. Hey, I tell you what. Talk about an incredible series. That would be unbelievable to have Longhorns in here for a super regional. Talk about getting the fan base fired up. I mean, I can't imagine a better scenario playing them with a chance to go to Omaha. That'd be awesome. Let's hope that happens, Ty.
Yeah, I'd be all for it. I mean, it was Buck Wild in 2015 when Missouri State came in here, and same with South Carolina. Phil, I'm sure the atmosphere would be off the charts if Texas were to come in for super regional games.
I think it would be crazy, and maybe even crazier than it felt like when Arkansas played Texas to open up the College World Series, because you're actually going to get them on your home field. Where honestly, I mean, last year in TD Ameritrade, Bubba, if I remember, I mean, Arkansas fans outnumbered Texas fans, but not like they would if you get them in your home ballpark.
Right. At the World Series last year, I mean, it was crazy. It was probably 10-1 Razorback fans. But talk about firing up all the old school guys that can remember the Southwest Conference days. I mean, that'd be nuts to have them in here. And I tell you what, I'd love to see it happen. I'd love to have a chance at them. I still hate that we gave up that game and we went to Texas earlier in the year. We had a 5-0 lead and we ended up losing it, but we were throwing freshmen and we were saving everyone for the weekend. But I still had a hard time swallowing that loss.
Bub, I think this team can still be a national seed, and it's because there are all these opportunities ahead of them to make the statements that you need in order to be that. I mean, look, Arkansas loses 2 out of 3 over the weekend, so they fall from the RPI rankings from 4th to 6th. because it's who you're playing, and it was Vanderbilt, and they've got the top RPI in the conference. Mississippi State's RPI is top 10 as well. You go to Tennessee after that. Tennessee's RPI is way up there. You know, the LSU, A&M. If you pick up, let's see, 5 series left. There are 5 series left. You win 3 of those series, this is a national seed.
No, I think so. I mean, it's right there for us to take it, and I think we're capable of doing it, Phil. You know, it's being around these guys. I tell you what, it's a team that there's no fear in this team at all. And sometimes they're a little bit too laid back. I think you miss that Carson Shaddy fire at times, but I really think that Auburn series fired them up, and I really think, you know, whatever happened after Saturday night's game, they came out a different team on Sunday, and I didn't get to watch the game, but I listened to it. And, you know, by the way, Phil, I love, after being around you for a while, I would rather listen to you broadcast the game than watch it, because I feel like I'm in the ballpark. So kudos to you, man. You do an awesome job. I wish I could have been there with you, but it's just awesome listening to the game on the radio, and you really get a feel for what's going on, and it's awesome. But yeah, you know, kind of got sidetracked there, but yeah, this team's capable of it, man, and it's right there for us. And you know, if we go out and take it, I think we can do it.
Okay, so what's your reaction, Bubba, to Connor Noland getting the ball for tonight's start? And I have a feeling that, I mean, really, who knows what happens this weekend with Wicklander probably getting a start and the weeks after that. But I think the way that Dave's got things lined up now for these next 3 weeks, Connor Noland can get some very important innings for him, save innings for some of the other pitchers you might like to see on the weekends. And I still think Connor's got a very bright future here at Arkansas, specifically for baseball. So what's your reaction to Connor Noland pitching tonight against UAPB?
No, I think it's awesome. I think he needs to get back out there and get his confidence back. You know, Connor's got the stuff, Phil. I mean, he really does. He's got a fastball that moves. He's got a great breaking ball. You know, he's got the weapons to do it. You know, a lot of it's just, you know, taking your lumps. You know, remember Isaiah Campbell, Blaine Knight went through it. It's tough when you're a freshman. A lot of it's just learning to use that stuff. You know, we talk about the analytics all the time, but a lot of it is just understanding how do you use that stuff to get hitters out. You know, whether you're talking pitch sequencing or whatever. You know, it's one thing for the catcher to put the sign down, but the pitcher needs to believe in what he's doing. And if he doesn't understand pitch sequences, what he's trying to do from one pitch to the next, it's hard to commit to that pitch 100%. And I really think that's where Connor's at right now. I think he's kind of struggling with the confidence, and really early on, I think he didn't worry about it. Now he's afraid to make a bad pitch, and when you do that, you make a bad pitch. But I tell you what, I think it's awesome getting a midweek start. I still say when it comes down to it at the end of the year, Connor Noland's going to start a game for us that's either a regional or a super regional game. I think he's going to get a big win somewhere down the road or eat up some valuable innings that gives us a chance to go on and play deeper in the postseason.
Talking Arkansas baseball, Bubba Carpenter, color analyst for Arkansas baseball. Bubba, let's close the interview with this. It's been a long time since you played for the Razorbacks, and a lot of things have changed, more specifically as of late with the baseball program. Hunter Yurchek deciding that the baseball program is going to play in-state schools. It seems like Dave is all for that, playing UALR, playing UAB. What's your take on playing in-state schools, and specifically in baseball?
Well, as a person that coaches, and I go around the state all during the summer coaching different areas of the state of Arkansas. I was USA Director of Baseball last year for the state of Arkansas, so I think it's awesome because I get to see other parts of the state, and I get to see kids, you know, that want to play college baseball. Not all of them can play at U of A, so I think it's awesome. You know, they can go to U of A Pine Bluff or Trojans, and they can play there and know that, hey, they're still going to get a chance to play the Razorbacks. I just think it's a good thing, and man, I tip my hat to Van Horn for pushing to get this done. A lot of guys wouldn't have been interested in doing it, but I tell you what, I think it's good for the state of Arkansas. It's good for baseball in this area or the whole state, and I'm excited about it. You know, now we don't like what happened, you know, when we faced Little Rock Trojans, but hey, you know, it was a tough loss for us, but, you know, it was a great win for them and their program, and that's something that's going to bolster them down the road and make their program even stronger. And I tell you what, when we play them next year, there'll be a little bit more something on the line, I think.
All right, Bubba, I put your bat down. I'm not touching it again. If you need a Red Bull, let me know, and I'll see you in a few hours.
All right, sounds good, fellas. Go Hogs.
You got it. This Bubba Carpenter will be on with me on the air later at 6 o'clock, and he might get on me, too, for touching his bat. All right, cherry on the top of halftime next. This is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Don't spend life sitting on your hands. You're listening to Halftime. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Brake Inspection Tuesday.
In Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Ora Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Ora Auto Park in Fort Smith. Stop in today, or they are always open online 24/7 at oraautopark.com.
Arts is more than barbecue and burgers. As a matter of fact, Arts has some of the best fried shrimp, grilled tilapia, and salmon you will find. And don't forget the catfish at Arts. Full-size meaty fillets, fried crispy golden brown, with hush puppies and all the fixins. And every Friday is Catfish Friday, featuring their catfish special at lunch and the all-you-can-eat Friday night special. Arts, more than just great barbecue and burgers. Try one of the shrimp or fresh fish entrees at Arts Barbecue on Rogers Avenue next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
That's the secret phone. The what? Remember? I told you my dad's a shelter agent. When that phone rings, he rushes out to save the day. Whether someone's home or car gets damaged, my dad is always there to help. He has the coolest job ever.
Well, my dad's an astronaut.
That's cool too, I guess.
Find your insurance superhero at shelterinsurance.com.
Ask shelter agents Ted McAvoy or Jeff Clark about a free insurance review.
Hot dog! Spring is finally here and not a moment too soon. Hi folks, Larry Rath here with a better way to drive at Rath Auto Resources. No spring training here. Our all-star team is ready to help you hit a home run with savings up to $3,200 below retail. And the bases are loaded with the freshest inventory in the fort. Cars, trucks, SUVs, all the most popular makes and models right here in one spot. To make this team, these vehicles have to be Rath Road ready. That means they're hand-picked, then inspected and reconditioned in our own Meineke Car Care Center, so you know you're getting the very best pre-owned vehicle you can buy. If you're keeping the car you have, turn the double play in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and up to $200 savings on a set of Cooper tires. Don't commit an error on your next used car purchase. Knock it out of the park with up to $3,200 below retail. At Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed independent dealer and proud sponsor of the Northwest Arkansas Naturals, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Hey dads, do you have an athlete in your house that is looking to take their skills to the next level? Excel Speed Training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club has the proven results to maximize your athlete's potential. Designed for both male and female athletes of all ages and various sports to improve mobility, endurance, agility, and vertical jump. Take your game to the next level with Excel Speed Training. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. That's Mike at 479-926-0193 at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
Spring into color at the paint store in Van Buren. Your favorite choice for inspiration in choosing those vibrant colors from Richard's Paints to finish your warm weather renovations. The paint store in Van Buren is contractor friendly and special orders don't upset them. Sue and Vicky, with over 30 years of experience, welcome all your painting questions and will help you feel confident in your choices of Richard's Paints. The paint store is at 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren. Come and see them or check them out on Facebook today.
We were on a break!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
High drive, way back into right field. You can kiss that one goodbye. That cleared the video board. Heston Kjerstad with a grand slam.
Well, let's see. That was a week ago. Yep, that was in the 15-8 win over Oral Roberts. One of 2 homers that Heston Kjerstad hit. In the Razorbacks win over the Golden Eagles. They'll take on another Golden team later tonight at 6:30. That's the Golden Lions of UAPB. And should get a decent crowd, although, of course, the weekend crowds usually dwarf the midweek crowds. But the SEC baseball attendance numbers have come out, a mid-season report card that was released. We saw it on Saturday down south. And right now the attendance leader, not just in the SEC but in the nation, is LSU, averaging just under 32,000 per week. Then Arkansas is third right now at 27,639 per week. That's, by the way, with bad weather. So this should be great weather this weekend series against Mississippi State. Let's pack this place. Should be a great weekend.
Yeah, and LSU coming up with a couple weeks. You get some of your better games, better competition. You're going to get more fans and seats and more butts in that hawk pen out there in the outfield, Phil. That's
right. Well, you got 9 conference games left here at Baum. And, yeah, we got those Razorback boxes out there, too. All right, we'll be back with you tomorrow. For Tye, I'm Phil. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Get up, get out there, get better.
In Fort Smith combines over 90 years of family-owned experience with the best sales and service teams around. And at Orr Auto Park, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime engine warranty, free maintenance for 2 years, and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. The largest selection, the biggest discounts, and the best buying experience around. These are some of the reasons why you always score more with Orr Auto Park in Fort Smith.